That's a really good question. No, because I feel like at the end of the day, I think it's just part of the journey. It's what you need to go through to go to the next stage or the next dimension of your life. It really opened my eyes to things that I liked and didn't like about being in a relationship, and it helped me work on myself to become a better person in my next one. Honestly, I have to thank that for a lot of the growth that I have in my life.
That memory taught me a lot of things, to be honest, man. It taught me about trust. It taught me about how to move, the way to select your friends, man. It taught me a lot of things, so yeah, all day, every day.
Leave that in the past. Matter of fact, yeah, if I could erase them, absolutely. Like, that's just baggage, bro. I wouldn't necessarily want to erase their relationships. I would just want to erase everything that I felt I did stupid in the relationships. You in the shower or something, and you just think, why did I do that? Like, you know, or like, well, like, dang, bro, like, you know, like those are the moments I would erase in my relationships, you know what I mean?
I've always carried this ideology throughout my life, you know, that everything happens for a reason. And you know, the first time I had my heart broken is like one of those moments in my life that like I'd be stupid to take back. Like I learned so much about myself, you know, during and after the relationship ended. I wouldn't take it back, you know, I don't regret any of it. And you know, at the end of the day, like all the sleepless nights, the tears, the headaches, and even the heartache was it made me a stronger person. You know, it prepared me for anyone who might come into my life in the future.
I won't erase it, you know. I feel like the key to a bigger relationship, I feel like you have to remember your ex. You know, you have to remember the things that you guys went through. That way you guys are able to build. Or when you do move on, I feel like you're able to kind of learn the pros and cons about your relationship, your previous relationship. And I think that if you do release those memories, I feel like you weren't able to learn anything.
All these things are placed in your life for a reason. They're a sign, and it's central, and it's vital. So I think I would not erase that.
A heartbreak is a serious thing, you know, no matter if you're 10 years old or if you're 50, you know, if you go through a heartbreak, you're gonna feel it. Let's say if your father passed away when you were at a young age, you're gonna feel that, right? And that's gonna stick with you for the rest of your life. That's gonna create the person that you are.
You know, heartbreak is something that you have to grow from, and it builds a lot of strength. I think that, you know, you going through a heartbreak, it doesn't kill you. You know, when you deal with a heartbreak, you deal it, you know, just by, you know, going to the gym, you write poems about it, you write, you know, the pros and cons about the relationship. I feel like that could actually help you make you more stronger and stuff like that. So the struggle that you went through in your previous relationship is actually able to build you. So there's nothing wrong with that.
I honestly think it's kind of stupid because it's a waste of time. Like you're 13 years old, you know, you're getting your heart broken by another 13-year-old kid that can't provide you anything. Yeah, you can definitely meet somebody at that age, but the likelihood of you learning something significant when you're both immature is dumb. I mean, there's 30-year-old people that still can't find a proper relationship.
Heartbreak is, you know, one of those things that if you haven't gone through it, then I genuinely feel sorry for you. Not having gone through it, just, you know, at least to me, it means you haven't, you know, experienced, you know, like the tender bliss of love. But, you know, that first time you get dumped or have your heart broken, it's something that just needs to happen. When you are young, you kind of can't help but feel like everything's gonna last forever. And you know it doesn't. And, you know, it's a very toxic way of thinking, and I feel like it's better to learn that at an early age than to, you know, carry that sense of immaturity into your adulthood.
Actually, I do view it as that. I think, you know, just like anything else, you know, you do have to fight something to get to the next, you know, the next phase of your life. Think about it, when you're in a relationship, there's the ups and there's the downs, and all of it combined is meaningful. The losing is as much as important as winning.
and we shouldn't take either for granted, you know. And I think it's special. So yeah.
I think adolescent heartbreak is funny. like that's how you end up with shows like Degrassi and Glee and all that, you know, and all that nonsense. Teens tend to be overly dramatic. Like, you know, like they tend to they treat a heartbreak the same way somebody who just lost their house in a hurricane would treat that situation. I do think that experiencing things early is beneficial. At the end of the day, usually we end up being the person we are no matter what. Like, you know, because life takes us that way.
As a person that's really mature when it comes to being professional in a relationship standard, I think it is required because I feel like, you know, having this closure, it pretty much, it sealed it, you know, so you have that, that freedom that you were looking for in a relationship, and it actually make you move on, you know, so you don't have to really think about it, and just, you know, just now you could freely do your thing now, whatever you want to do. So
I think it definitely depends on what you mean by closure. Because if you mean you need closure from that other person, then I'll say heck no. If you say you need closure for yourself, as in like what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? And was this really worth my time? Then I can say that, yeah, closure means something. But if he's talking about I need to talk to this person to see if this relationship really was worth having, then nah.
I think in most cases, yes. You know, if it were me and I never got that verbal declaration that the relationship was over, then, you know, I would have this, you know, hope and longing in the back of my head, saying, is this person gonna come back? Are we done for good? And, you know, it would drive me insane. And some people can move on without closure, and for some people like myself who need it, they also have to be prepared for the fact that they may never get it. And, you know, you just have to be able to live with that, and maybe even find your own sense of closure.
What? Yeah. I mean, in some cases, you know, some people don't need it, some people do. So for some people, you know, not everyone. It also depends on how it ends.
Closure? Closure? Bro, I'm gonna be real with you, bro. For what? For what? What I need to talk to you about? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you wanna cook me something, and then like you offer some closure that way, I might want to have some closure with you. Other than that, I don't need to see you. Your relationship ends when you want it to, don't it? Like, you know, like when you say it's over, it's over. Like, it don't matter what they say, it don't matter how anybody else feels. If you say that the relationship is over, it's over. So I feel like that is closure. That's definitely enough closure for me.
Closure for me is important because it's a spiritual thing. Coming to yourself in a sense of accepting what's meant, or accepting what is to be in a way, or accepting what's in the front of you. It's it's a crucial part of any relationship, friendship, anything. There's plenty other ways you can do it. Like I said, some people need to talk to the person that broke up with them. Some people can be like, you know what? Like, if it was not meant to be, it's not meant to be, and I'm fine with that. I can find peace with that. But if it's becoming one with yourself, it's becoming one with the issue and saying that, you know what, that issue's not gonna dominate me over anymore.
You know, for me, my first breakup was, you know, the first time in my life where I think I ever really felt true emotional pain. I vividly remember this conversation that I had with my mom. And I say vividly because I made her cry because of it. I told her, like, you know, all I want to do right now is sleep. You know, like, afterwards, all I wanted to do is sleep because, you know, I said to her, like, when I'm sleeping, I'm not thinking about what happened. And then my mom just started bawling.
I think, like I said, just self-evaluation. I definitely had to look in the mirror and realize, number one, why the heck was I in a relationship in the first place? Secondly, what could I have done better and where I messed up. I know for a fact that if I had done those things earlier in the relationship itself, it probably wouldn't have lasted as long. To me, once I'm done, I'm done. So I didn't really have to do anything. I just it was just over, and I just lived my life.
Let me tell y'all, number one step, go crazy, go stupid. Listen, there's 7 billion people on this planet, man. Half of that is probably females, right? Probably. Hey, we don't, probably, because you got male, you got female.
I'm a suave kind of guy, man. I like listening to R&B music. I love, I love Boyz II Men, Jodeci. With music, for me, it's good music. There's so much philosophy, and for me, it's just like I'm having these stories told and knowing that, hey, I relate to these stories, to those songs that are written. Like someone has gone through this, and it makes you feel like that you're not alone. I also think for me, my journey with that has been also my spiritual walk. And I know that, the most important thing in my life, I know that God already assigned me a value. For me, I look for Him. He makes me whole. So I understand that. For me, understanding that gives me a purpose.
You got trans male, transgenders. You got all these trannies out here. No offense to the LGBT community. To answer your question, it just takes time, man. It just takes time. You gotta distract yourself with something. You can't just, suppress yourself or isolate yourself somewhere and just constantly think about what could have been or, what happened. But yeah, just distract yourself from the situation and you can move on, I promise. Go crazy. Yeah, go crazy.
Well, with breakups, you go from calling each other baby, honey, or whatever the hell you call each other, and then you just wake up the next day and you're like total strangers. And that's something I always thought was weird. With my first breakup, I tried my best not to be alone, even though I really wanted to. I wanted to be a recluse. I spent a lot of time with my siblings. I picked up some new hobbies, even some old ones. And, at the end of the day, all that really took was time. And, the longer, that person wasn't in my life anymore, the more I understood why they weren't and why they did the things that they did. And, because of that better understanding of things, it made me come to terms with the reality of things, and it made me be at peace with my past.
The shower tends to be a very helpful place to meditate. I say meditate, I mean cry. I think that being alone is probably the worst thing. If you sit there too long, you're gonna start thinking. You're gonna start overthinking, you're gonna start analyzing. During a breakup, the best thing you should do is hang out with people that you're close to. You know what I mean? People that you feel like people that you're close enough to that can shield you from, all the bad, all the bad thoughts, all the bad, all the negative, all the negative mojo that you bring onto yourself.
For me personally, I think it's multiple steps actually. Gym is actually a really good way of, forgetting about your ex. And I think writing, you think that, you're not meant to forget about your ex. You're meant to remember things, because if you do forget about your ex, then you forget about all the good things you guys had, so you guys get able to learn from that, So I feel like if you write, you understand the situation where you came from. So I feel like that would actually help you a lot, So writing, listening to music actually helps sometimes, and it gets you in your feelings too sometimes. But all that stuff is all good, so.
Go crazy.
Go stupid.
Go stupid, go crazy.
Go crazy. Go stupid. Somebody who's going through one now, I mean, if it's over, it's over. Like, there's nothing you can do. You know, if the person don't want you, hey, so be it. You gotta move on. Huh?
Go crazy.
Go crazy. Ain't go crazy. Go stupid. Yeah, go crazy.
I would just say get over it. Seriously, just get over it. I mean, I think it hurts a lot if you're the one that caused the relationship to end. Like, if you're the person who's at fault, whether through your actions or repeated actions, or I would say just personal deficiencies that you couldn't provide into, bring into the relationship. That's when the heartbreak really hits you. If things are mutual, or if you were the one person who was wrong in the relationship, then just get over it and move on. Work's not gonna stop, world doesn't stop. You have to keep moving forward.
Focus on your own self. It's not the end. These things were able to strengthen you, and throughout your struggles, it's able to, it motivate you more and stuff like that. It's like getting an F in school. Getting an F in your class. It's not gonna upset you. It's not gonna bother you. You just have to pick yourself up and say that, I'm human. These things do happen. So, currently, your ex feel like, she wanna break up with you. Then it's not the hardest thing, but it's not the easiest thing also. So you have to do things that you love, So as soon as you pick something that you feel passionate about and you do things you love, you focus on your own self and value your own self and stuff like that. These things not gonna help you at all. So
some people out there, they get shot. And they get shot and don't even cry. I think that you can get over it. If you can experience getting shot, like, you know what I mean? If you can experience getting shot, then you'll figure out that what you're dealing with right now is not that serious. Like, you feel me? If you're going through a breakup, man, I think that self-analysis is probably, like, I know I'm contradicting myself since I said I would, like, kind of erase all those moments, but yeah, self-analysis is definitely a thing, because if you're gonna fail, right, you might as well learn from it, like, So I think that self-analysis, like, figuring out what you did wrong, figuring out what you did right, figuring out what you liked and what you didn't like, is probably one of the most important parts of a breakup. You know what I mean?
I would say it's not the end of the road. I think, just like any other book, there's plenty of chapters. Part of the journey is the end. So meaning, if it means that your relationship's not working, hey, seek the end. So I always look at it. If it doesn't work, that person's probably doing you a favor. I think, end of the day, that person is telling you, hey, be free. That's liberating. So I think, in the end of the day, that person's probably doing you a favor. That person is telling you that, I'm not assigned to you, and I know that. I know you can do better. And for me, usually all the people that I've been in a relationship with, if I'm able to see them, I thank them. I'm usually like, hey, thank you. And I usually encourage them to be, I not encourage them, but I thank them. Whatever it is. But, it comes down to, I want them to be doing good in life. Because it doesn't matter, man. I don't hold any baggage. I want all the people. Because at the end of the day, one thing I've realized, you date the level of your maturity. So at the end of the day, if you pick them, it was what you were at that time. So for me, it's like you're just kind of picking who you were at the time. And that person, sometimes you graduate early, sometimes it takes you a while to blossom, but whatever it is, it's still an important step of the journey.
For some of you, this may be your first breakup or maybe your second or third, but the one thing you probably all have in common is that you're in pain. Whether or not it was you who decided to end things or maybe it was you that got dumped, it doesn't matter. You're going through some kind of, emotional trauma, but I want you guys to look at this thing as a blessing in disguise. This is an opportunity to get to know yourself all over again. I used to think that to get over someone, all you had to do was distract yourself, keep yourself busy, and just find things to fill out your day just to keep your mind off of it, but I think that's total bullshit. And you know, like emotions are called emotions for a reason, and you know, when you're having them, you should feel them. You know, you should have that good cry. Really take the time to, you know, understand the situation fully, and not only will it be easier to move on, but to, like I said, make peace with your past. And I guess the last thing I want to leave you guys with is, you know, don't give up. You know, with love, most importantly, with life, you know, you're just one bump in the road never sets the tone for the entire journey. And, you know, if love felt as good as it did with the wrong person, then just think about how it'll feel with the right person.
Hit it. Go crazy.